how I got the shots, Dita Von Teese, the campaign. So one day I get a phone call from Dita and her manager. They say that they want me to shoot this new fragrance campaign for her. And it's important to ask the right questions. So my first question was, what are the notes of the fragrance? And they said, well, lilac and lavender. So immediately I was just thinking the whole thing has to be in tones of purple or nods to that in some way or another. So I knew we were shooting at Dita's house, her old house actually, in her bedroom. And that bedroom has silver wallpaper. So we got a prop stylist and sent him to the Flower Mart in downtown LA to buy every flower he could find in these purple tones. So I went to the grip and lighting supply store and I bought every color of purple gel for the lights. And none of them were right. The light ones wouldn't read, and the dark ones looked like a heavy metal video. So I ended up having to cut strips of light and dark purples and put them over strobe heads to light this room with. And part of the reason we have this dreamy effect in the background isn't just the narrow depth of field. It's that I used this machine I had never used before called a hazer. And I learned about the hazer from a guy I knew that worked for David Fincher. And I said, how does David Fincher always shoot with red cameras, which are incredibly sharp cameras, and always get this great dreamy depth, how the air has texture to it? And he said, get a hazer. So hazer is just a very light fog machine, and it's operated by, there's a little key fob button. So I'd have the key fob mounted to my tripod, and I'd just go tss, 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 and put a little bit of smoke in the air. And then this mixture of purple gels lit the room in this beautiful lavender, and then we had the flowers in the background for this shot. Now for the lighting on this one, I mixed daylight and strobe. I wanted there to be a warmth to it. Dita, you always see she's very white, she's very pale, but to me these were like spring colors, and I wanted it to be warm spring lighting. So I used window light from the bedroom coming in, and then I had a medium Chimera softbox with 2 layers of diffusion on the ground, shooting some soft, creamy light up at her. And then I built a platform with some apple boxes, and then put one for her, and then put a poof for her to sit on top of that so I could get that chandelier into the frame. A lot of flowers gave their lives for this shot. So again, prop stylist went down to the Flower Mart, bought a ton of flowers and the whites and the lavenders, and they were all to match this vintage dress that Dita had, which they sent me a photo of. So we filled this entire room of flowers. There was a prop stylist and an assistant or two that were just ripping the petals off it and filling this whole room, and it smelled quite magnificent. And then for the lighting, if you look into the catch lights in her eyes, or anyone's eyes, you can usually tell the lighting diagram. So I used a medium Chimera softbox overhead on a boom arm right over her, and then another one on the floor kind of pointing up just to get a smooth, soft, creamy light. And then the back of the room, I had 2 more medium Chimeras on light stands, just kind of filling in the shadows of the background. This is another one at her vanity, which was mirrored, which was tricky, getting an angle where there wouldn't be light stands or me in the frame, but we worked it out. And this time I hit her hair, as you can see, with a little bit of lavender gel, just a little bit, just a nod to it. And then had the prop stylist do a beautiful floral arrangement here. And that side with the lilies could have been a little fuller, but what are you going to do? And then we used, again, this beautiful purple vintage dress and her using the product. Finally, the product shot. Now, product is no easy feat to do correctly. This one we used 2 stripped soft boxes with cinefoil and flags to feather the light in perfectly. And you can see her hand is resting on a piece of show card. And what show card is just kind of a disposable silver shiny board, which I was using to reflect my overhead light back into her eyes. And we were just going to do a product shot. And I said, you know what, hop in for this one. I think this one might just be cool just to have just like your lips and you out of focus. And I think it worked. And finally, for this last one, we took some like chicken wire and some plywood and made a frame, and then just stuck a whole bunch of flowers. And I think we grabbed some greenery from her garden and made a little wall, and you can still see there's the show card bouncing the light up into her beautiful eyes, and some nice crisp hair light to mix with the soft light on her face. And finally, here's one of the print ads. We also did a spot that I'll show another time that was on, I think, QVC. What do you guys think?